we'll get started. We'd like to welcome Patrick Cantlay into the interview room here at the BMW Championship. Our defending champion, although we're at a different golf course, and just 1 week away from defending his FedEx Cup title at Eastlake. Patrick, if we can get some thoughts on being here in Wilmington this week.
Yeah, obviously nice to be back. A tournament that changes every year, venue. But I've heard we're going back to Caves Valley in a couple years, I think.
Yep. 2025.
25. So it's always good to be up here in the Northeast. I like the grass up here. This golf course in great condition. Should be a good week.
And the state of your game coming into the week before questions.
Yeah, I think it's been good. I've played really consistently all year and just need to get hot with the putter and see if I can knock off a few wins to end the year.
All right, sounds good. We'll open it up to questions. Yep, we'll start right here with Gene.
Patrick, how much have you rewatched or relived the thrilling ending to last year's BMW, and how much motivation or inspiration do you get from that?
I saw a few highlights, but I didn't watch it all back. It was kind of a rush to the end of the year last year between BMW and the Tour Championship and Ryder Cup. Watched more Ryder Cup than either the Tour Championship or BMW replays.
As far as the state of your game is comparison between going into that event and then going into this week, like what it was last year and this year, same or anything different?
I wouldn't say too much different. My process is pretty similar. I feel like I've had a pretty consistent year this year. Had a lot of chances, and I just need to keep putting myself right there and get a few breaks come the back nine on Sunday.
Okay, Ben?
Mate, what, if anything, is the key to winning on a course that no one's seen like you kind of did last year?
I mean, this golf course is definitely, just like last year, extremely distance biased. You got to hit it as far as you can and hit a lot of fairways. This course is a little narrower than last year. And, I think most times you see when guys win, they just get hot with the putter, which I did last year. A good recipe is top of the way in driving and top of the way in putting. And so these greens are in really good shape, and if you get the ball on line and read it right, it should go in almost every time.
Can sometimes a lack of experience at a place allow you to not overthink it and just go out and play as well?
I'm not sure about that. I don't think there's too much strategy to this golf course. I think it's pretty right in front of you. And, similar to last year, the venues between last year and this year are actually really similar, I think, in style of golf.
All right, let's go right here, center.
Good afternoon. Have you played other courses in Delaware or in the immediate southeast Pennsylvania area? And any comment about what you've seen so far besides what you've said already today?
I think this is my first time to Delaware, and I would say maybe the closest golf course I've played to here, our geography is not great, but probably Pine Valley. I've played once, and I don't think it's too far. And I think Pine Valley is maybe one of the best golf courses I've ever played.
Okay, let's go over to Ryan.
Patrick, the meeting later today has kind of captured every golf fan's imagination. What are you hoping gets accomplished tonight?
Well, I've heard Tiger's the new commissioner, right? That's what everyone's been saying. I'm going to go to the meeting. I'm going to listen to what it's all about, and I'll probably have more for you after.
Can I ask you a playoff question? What do you think makes a perfect postseason for the PGA Tour? You have the regular season. What do you envision of what this could look like?
Well, it's changed so many times, I'm not sure anyone's got the perfect formula yet. I'm not sure. It's hard to do playoffs in golf. I think we've seen that, and I'm not really sure. I think there's got to be smarter people than me that have more experience putting this on together, or putting this on than it seems to be tweaked every year, and I'm not necessarily sure why. I mean, we went to everyone starts at a different score to par a couple years ago. That still feels strange to me. It is a little clearer to watch on TV because you only have the one tournament going on, but you lose the fact that the Tour Championship is kind of gone, which I think is a shame, really. I actually liked it when it was the points, and you kind of knew if you were in the top 5 and you won that you had control of your own destiny, and if not, it was up to whatever Steve Sands said. I kind of liked it. If you were following it, you definitely knew what was going on. We would have never had Tiger winning the Tour Championship if it weren't for that 2-event style championship down the stretch. Tiger would have just finished 8th in the FedEx Cup. That would have been weird considering the scene we saw around that green. Like I said, playoffs is obviously a challenge in golf, and I'm not sure anyone's figured it out, the perfect formula yet.
All right, let's go to Espen on the left.
All right, Patrick. I spoke to some players yesterday who were surprised by how long the course was playing, and some of them said that it kind of reminded them of a U.S. setup kind of course. Do you agree with that?
A what?
Kind of a U.S. Open setup?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's a U.S. Open setup. I think it's really long. I think it's also strange to me that we play so many golf courses that all they do is add length to the golf courses. It's so surprising to me that the golf courses that none of the guys who hit it far, they don't go to Hilton Head, they don't go to Colonial, they don't go to the short, small, dog-leggy, tree-lined golf courses. And so the way we combat the distance, the way these architects seem to think they want to combat distance, is by taking all the trees out and playing at 7,600 yards and put the tees way back, and all the par 5s are at 600 yards. And I don't think that makes any sense. So I'm surprised every time I come to a golf course where they say it's recently been redone, and then there's no real shaping of golf shots. It's just how far can you hit it and grab your driver on every hole and hit it as high and hit it as far as you possibly can. And if you can hit it 315 yards, you've taken out all the bunkers, and you're maybe in the rough, but it's way better in the rough with a 9 or an 8 iron than it is maybe even in the fairway with a 5 iron if you were to lay up to the fat part of the fairway before the bunkers. So I'm so surprised that they haven't figured it out. And it just seems like we're getting more and more of the same bomb it as far as you can golf courses week after week.
I just saw you and Sander on number 5 yesterday. You were, you couldn't see the green on the approach. What's your thoughts on that hole, and if it's going to play from the tee you used yesterday? Do you think it's do you think it's defendable? Do you think it's? I mean, it looks really challenging.
I think it's potentially goofy if you have 210 yards to a blind green with water that fronts the front of the green. But I'm sure the tour staff will move the tees up if it's into the wind like we played our practice round. And then if it's downwind, that won't be an issue.
All right, let's go Doug and then Bob.
If you were, I had a couple things. If you were a betting man, how many players do you think would have started the year outside the top 40 in the world ranking and gone on to win the FedEx Cup?
2. What is it?
You'd be wrong, but
0?
1.
1.
Yeah.
It's close.
It's good research. Secondly, on this meeting of top players, it just made me wonder if is there not a chance of who gets invited and who doesn't to make golf even more divisive than people claim the whole Saudi thing is in the first place?
Do I think that? Sorry, can you ask it again? I just want to understand.
Could that make things more divisive within the tour than anything that's been disrupted from the other side?
I think it, depending on the results, if anything changes potentially, I'm not sure what, if anything, will change. What will be the result of it? So I think it's good that a lot of the players are getting together to discuss the situation out here, especially given the current circumstances.
Okay, let's go Bob and then Gene.
Two things pretty separate. On your comments about it's hard to have playoffs in golf, but yet you'd sort of like to see the Tour Championship exist as it did. Would you be in favor of a system where whoever gets there, it's just everybody starts out and whoever wins it, wins it? Is that too drastic of a change? In other words, if whoever gets to Atlanta, even if you're 30th, if you win the tournament, you win the FedEx Cup, it's a pretty drastic change, but it would allow the tournament to still exist as a tournament.
I think that would be too drastic. Somebody could win both the playoff events and finish second in this proposed event and finish second in the FedEx Cup. I don't think that makes sense. I think that would be worse.
Yeah. The other thing was next year it's going to only 70 getting into the playoffs. Do you like that? And also, how do you think that will alter the way perhaps yourself or other players will look at the schedule?
I think definitely with all the changes come January, you'll see guys play a lot more in a condensed period of time, especially because, and another one of my gripes with the FedEx Cup is it's an accumulation game. So that literally the more events you play, the better opportunity you'll have to be in the top, because there's no penalty for missing any cuts. So I think you'll see guys, especially if they start to come down the end of the stretch in the summer, where they're anywhere from maybe 55 to 100 or 125, they may just start playing every single event to try and get into the playoffs. And we're already going to see guys play more during that period of time, because no FedEx Cup points in the fall. I think that's not this year, but the next year. So, I think you're just going to see guys play a ton more between January and August.
Okay. Gene?
Yeah, Patrick, with the guy you beat in the playoff last year not here, as well as DJ and Sergio finished tied for sixth last year, kind of what's your perspective on the field this season with those guys, some notable guys gone to live?
Yeah, I think it's no doubt that the fields out here have gotten weaker, missing those guys, and I think that's one of the unfortunate circumstances that happens when you have somewhat of a fractured sport as far as the best players where they're playing, especially compared to all the consistency we've had in the past, where pretty much every single one of the top players plays all these events.
All right, let's take the last one over here with Doug.
As honest to God, I just forgot.
That's all right.
Well, Patrick, we appreciate your time. Best of luck this week.
Thank you.